Welcome back to CIA Declassified. We're heading into the Mountain of the Dead. Kholat Syakhl. I think I might have butchered that, but it was my attempt to pronounce it. In February 1959, 9 experienced hikers led by Igor Dyatlov vanished. When the search parties found them, the scene was a nightmare. Their tent was ripped open from the inside. Some were missing eyes or tongues. Some were nearly naked in 30 below weather. And most baffling of all, their clothing was contaminated with high levels of radiation. Official Soviet reports blamed a compelling natural force, but in the basement of Langley, the agency was looking at a theory that makes a localized avalanche look like a walk in the park. This wasn't just a camping trip. Some believe it was a dead drop for the atomic age. Internal CIA analysis from the late 50s focused heavily on Soviet nuclear facilities in the Urals, the mountains. The agency was known to use illegal residents, undercover spies, to collect soil and water samples. One specific theory explored by researchers using classified files suggests 2 of the hikers, Semyon and Alexander, had ties to the KGB and may have been acting as double agents. A quote from a declassified CIA memorandum on Soviet nuclear surveillance. The utilization of recreational groups for the covert transport of contaminated material provides an ideal low-profile signature, end quote. The clothing of Yuri and Kolivatov tested positive for beta radiation. Krivonishnikov worked at Chelyabinsk-Forsty. I'm really butchering the names here, ladies and gentlemen. A secret nuclear facility that had suffered a massive explosion in 1957. The orange spheres reported by other hikers in the area on the night of the incident were identified by some analysis as R-7 intercontinental ballistic missile test launched from Tyuratam. Tyuratam. A quote from Boris Yeltsin, a former Russian president, on the investigation. The truth is hidden in the archives, but it involves more than just the weather. It involves the state, end quote. The leader of the search party, Ivanov, stated in 1990 that he was ordered by high-ranking regional officials to close the case and classify the findings. Semyon was found with a camera around his neck that was never mentioned in the original police inventory. The Soviet military conducted parachute mine tests in the region, which create a massive concussive shock wave without leaving a crater. CIA files on Project Stargate show that the agency later used remote viewers to try and look back at the 1959 incident to determine if a secret weapon was tested. A 1959 internal weather report for the Ural region noted unusual atmospheric luminescence on the night the hikers died. The autopsy of Lyudmila revealed internal injuries equivalent to a high-speed car crash despite no external bruising. The radioactive clothing theory posits that the hikers were supposed to meet CIA-hired agents to hand over samples in the form of contaminated garments for Western analysis. The agency's Office of Scientific Intelligence maintained a database of every industrial accident in the USSR to track the purity of their nuclear isotopes. In the 1950s, the CIA used air resupply missions that involved dropping supplies via parachute into the Siberian wilderness for anti-Soviet insurgents. Nikolai Thibeaux-Brignol, I'm not sure how you say his last name. One of the hikers was the son of a French communist who was executed by Stalin, giving him a complex political background the CIA found notable. The agency's Project Gentrix used high-altitude balloons to photograph the Soviet Union, and several of these balloons drifted over the Urals during the period of the Dyatlov hike. A quote from a declassified CIA case officer log dated 1960, "The loss of the Ural assets has created a critical intelligence gap regarding the new fuel enrichment process," end quote. Soviet records show that the KGB opened their own parallel investigation into the Dyatlov group weeks before the official search party was even formed. The hikers were carrying a stove they had built themselves, but searchers found it still packed and unused, suggesting whatever forced them out happened with lightning speed. A quote from the diary of, I'm not going to be pronouncing this correctly either, Ludmila, quote, "I wonder what awaits us in this journey. What new things will we see?" End quote. Yuri Yudin, the only survivor who turned back early due to illness, later remarked that he was asked to identify strange pieces of cloth found at the site that didn't belong to any of the hikers. CIA documents from Project Phoenix show the agency's intense interest in Soviet aura research, which some link to the strange glowing orbs reported in the Ural skies. Records indicate that several hikers had strangely tanned or orange skin during their funerals, a common physical reaction to high-dose radiation exposure. If you dig into the declassified history of Operation Foxleap, you'll find a section on biological recovery that looks like it was edited with a paint roller. The heaviest redactions surround the phrase unintended infrasound. A theory that haunts the dark web is that the CIA was testing an acoustic disorientation weapon via balloon, and the black bars hide the psychotic break results, explaining why the hikers ripped their way out of their own tent in a blind panic. A whisper from a former agency technician suggests the black bars hide the parachute malfunction. Speculation is that a CIA supply crate filled with lead-lined containers fell directly onto the tent, and the redactions cover the accidental impact coordinates. Some believe the redactions hide the cobalt signature. The theory is that the hikers were tagged with a new type of radioactive marker that the CIA could track from space, and the black bars hide the human beacon failure data. Could the black bars hide the Yeti asset? One wild theory suggests the CIA was investigating whether the Soviets were breeding super soldiers in the cold, and the redactions cover the non-human encounter debriefings. Some believe the redactions hide the telepathic overload. The theory is that a CIA remote viewer tried to contact the group, and the black bars hide the mental feedback that caused the group to turn on each other. There is a theory that the black bars hide the nerve gas drift. Speculation suggests the agency dropped a neutralizing agent to capture the hikers for interrogation, and the redactions cover the lethal dosage error. Some speculate the redactions hide the double paperclip. The theory is that the hikers stumbled onto a secret base where former Nazi scientists were working for the USSR, and the black bars hide the witness elimination order. Whispers claim the black bars hide the gravity well. A wild theory suggests the CIA was tracking a UFO crash in the Urals, and the redactions cover the artifact recovery by the hikers. Some speculate the redactions hide the clothes swap. The theory is that the hikers were replaced by CIA agents in skins who were then killed by the KGB, and the black bars hide the identity erasure logs. Finally, some speculate the redactions hide the time slip. The theory is that the CIA chrono experiment caused the hikers to age 50 years in a single night, and the black bars hide the rapid senescence photos. There's a theory circulating that the black bars hide the Siberian siren. Speculation suggests the CIA deployed a high-frequency broadcast that mimicked a human scream, and the redactions cover the panic induction field tests that led to the hikers dying. Could the black bars hide the animal operative? One theory suggests the CIA successfully trained a pack of wolves to herd targets toward a capture zone, and the redactions cover the canine recovery failure on the Kholat Mountain. Some Dyatlov truthers believe the black bars hide the ghost glitch. Speculation is that the CIA was using Project Mirror to teleport agents into the Urals, and the redactions cover the spatial overlap that fused the hikers with the mountain terrain. Is there a underground Ural laboratory? One wild theory suggests the black bars hide a CIA operation to tunnel into a secret Soviet bunker from beneath the mountain, and the redactions cover the structural collapse that caused the tremors felt by the hikers. Finally, some speculate the black bars hide the Manchurian mountaineer. The theory is that one hiker was a brainwashed CIA sleeper who was triggered by a specific radio frequency, and the redactions cover the internal sabotage report. Was the agency's interest in Dyatlov Pass a success? Intelligence-wise, it was a mixed bag. If the hikers were indeed delivery assets, the mission was a catastrophic failure that resulted in the loss of high-value information and human life. However, operationally, it was a learning curve. The agency realized that the Soviet interior was far more hostile and better guarded than they anticipated. The Mountain of the Dead gave birth to new ways of watching as far as operational and technological breakthroughs go, such as radioactive tracer technology, the use of contaminated material to track the movement of unsuspecting couriers, shockwave analysis, understanding how concussive weapons affect the human body without leaving external marks, cold weather surveillance, improving the durability of high-altitude balloon sensors in extreme Siberian conditions, and dead drop optimization, learning that using civilian groups as cover requires a much higher level of plausible deniability. The Ural Mountains keep their secrets well. Whether it was an avalanche, a secret weapon, or a botched CIA delivery, the names of the 9 hikers remain etched in the ice. The next time you see orange spheres in the sky, maybe don't go looking for where they land. Thanks for listening, and join us next time as we examine MKUltra Subproject 68. Behind the walls of the Allen Memorial Institute, Dr. Ewan Cameron attempted the impossible. We'll uncover the horrific world of psychic driving, where patients were forced to listen to looping audio tapes for weeks on end to wipe their personalities. We'll also look into Project MKUltra, where the CIA tried to master the art of de-patterning to build a better spy or a more compliant victim. Can you really rebuild a human being from scratch? Join us for The Broken Record. In the meantime, I'll see you in the archives.